that I've read today of another creator saying that although investments is all about obviously your returns, right? You want to worry about how much you're getting back, and that really does make a difference. But the number one thing nobody really talks about, nobody really focuses on, is how much you're putting into it, right? Your rates of savings and how much you're actually adding to it every year. Hey, and we are here. We're again here in my as I call it, my vlogs and my quick thoughts that I usually have on my daily basis. And I really wanted to jump on real quick and just give a quick as we are going here, especially if anybody that's watching, especially those Gen Zers, maybe like myself, millennials, crazy hair and all. uh, we've been kind of what I've been noticing lately with the whole getting on building your financial literacy and building your future, obviously your wealth, and always and obviously improving yourself and hopefully in the long run your financial situation, right? And with that, personal finances, whether it's to build wealth, whether it's to pay off debt, whether it's to um, increase your savings, all these things that we might want to accomplish. It always starts obviously first and foremost with your mindset, right? And I want to share real quick another point. There's a book that I read maybe like a couple of years back. I ran into it from other individuals on here on YouTube, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. And I always, I was going through it. Like I said, I had student loans. I had really a tough time. Didn't have any savings. Uh, I've been working, and I haven't working wasn't the issue. It was I don't know where my money was going. I kind of really didn't understand why I didn't have anything saved up, and thought that by reading a book, Think and Grow Rich, I would become rich, right? And the funny thing was that the book itself has nothing to do with becoming rich. There's no like get rich quick scheme to it. It's just mostly how to process your thoughts, how to think, how to move, and how to build wealth mentally, and eventually you become the person that you're trying to attract. Obviously, wealth and riches too. So it's about becoming first individual, in the first your mental state, and then in that process, accumulating and attracting because of the individual you become. So at the end of the day, I always thought that you had to first become, try to get these riches or wealth, but at the same time, I didn't know that you had to really, as an individual, become a different individual. Learn how your mind works and how you kind of see yourself, right? Self image, and just view your relationship with finances and money in a whole different way. And also, obviously, become educated in your own finances, in yourself. Everybody has their own way, right? But one thing we learned is that I learned was that most of it, I would say 90% of it, is mental. Really doesn't matter where you live. It really doesn't matter, you know, how much you're making. It's really mostly about your mental game and your mindset, and whether you want to really find ways to do it or you don't. And it's up to you. It's kind of like, you know, uh, unfortunately, it makes really a big difference on how you're doing it yourself. And I really wanted to just tie that point to where I've been focusing a lot on trying to open up some of my brokerage accounts and invest in some index funds, and hopefully um, be able to. I was investing. I mean, I was researching a lot of different companies, different funds, different ETFs, and which have the best return of obviously investments, and which have the best rates. And there was one thing that I've read today of another creator saying that although investments is all about obviously your returns, right? You want to worry about how much you're getting back, and that really does make a difference. But the number one thing nobody really talks about, nobody really focuses on, is how much you're putting into it, right? Your rates of savings and how much you're actually adding to it every year. Because obviously, the bigger the pile, the more interest it takes, right? And that interest rate compounds obviously every year. So if the pile gets bigger, then that interest compounds even bigger. So just remember now that it's a new year, we're all getting these great returns, stimulus, all these things that everybody's coming into. We come into a very influx of money that maybe a lot of us probably have never had. And if you're kind of over the phase of like saving and having the emergency funds, and now you're trying to start investing and grow your wealth for your future, whether it's for your obviously retirement account or whether it's just for growing your wealth and individually, don't forget about that, right? Let's not overlook that. What really matters, that doesn't change the game, is how much you start putting into it, how much you're saving every year, and that's kind of looking at your lifestyle and looking like where you're at, and also my hair is really creative today. Looking at where your money's going, right? Handling your personal finances, but trying to not let trying to live below your means, and that is probably one of the hardest things that I know I've had to deal with and had to kind of correct and try to play with every single year, because it's very easy for us to kind of want to upgrade or want to get a bigger place or maybe a newer edition of our phone or something that maybe will take away from that increase, that raise, the bonus that we might get every single year. And the only thing I think I know personally is you either have to get a raise or you have to lower your expenses. And either or, you really can't control the raise. I think you really can't most of the time, but you can kind of learn to live below your means and really control where your money is going. Obviously, you don't want to not do anything. So I'm not saying you don't live. Come on, Anthony, don't go off to eat lunch. Don't go out to eat dinner. Don't buy your clothes. Don't buy certain things. We're not saying to like eliminate every type of expense, but monitor it, right? Like, not try to go over. Like if I give you $100, don't use all of it, right? Let's say use half of it. So if I give you 100, maybe put 50 away every month and 50 for your clothes and whatever it is you want to do. But I personally feel that the difference in whether me or you or anybody starts saving for their future and start investing, it's really about how diligent you are of putting money into the account, and trying to make it a game, right? I know individuals that I've met and wealthy individuals, they make it a game to see how much they have been able to put away for their future and wealth, whatever it may be that they're building, whether it's a retirement account or their freedom fund. And I want to call it freedom fund because I just ordered some books and I really wanted to become a little more knowledgeable in financial literacy. So I've read a lot of financial literacy books, but they're kind of old, and I want to read some recent ones or kind of the ones that are popular. And I just ordered Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, and I started looking a little bit of YouTube audiobooks on it. And he was talking about that. One of his ideas in his books is creating freedom fund, and in this freedom fund, he says this is the money you're gonna save, you're gonna put away, so that eventually you can be financially free. And what he means by that, obviously, what we all mean by that is that you don't have to wake up to go to work anymore. That you can just literally just do what you want, and not have to kind of trade your time for money. And that's kind of, I think, for most of us, especially in the minorities and our neighborhoods that I grew up in, we're all trading on time for money. And you want to kind of transition from that to, most of your time being doing things that you want to be doing. And if you're charging somebody for your time, it's because you are doing what you want to do. So at the end of the day, you really don't mind it. But when we're doing things that we don't want to do, we're trading our valuable time for money. So I think one of the best ways to kind of acknowledge and look at it is that the faster you can put away as a freedom fund or freedom money that he was talking about, the faster you can kind of get control of your life and time. And I think that's kind of been my motivation and my goal is to eventually have that freedom fund that uh, my time is valuable. I do what I want to do every single day, and I can start my own projects and work as much or as little as I want, and that doesn't affect my um, livelihood. And that's something that we kind of forget. Uh, Not only do we want to be wealthy and build generational wealth and understand, build also um, income for ourselves, we want to buy our time back, have freedom to do what we want to do, to not have to go out there and trade our time for money. Um, and most of the time, do it for a very, very below average market price because you're just asking as opposed to setting the rates and setting your market. And I think for the most part, most of us in that situation, including myself, we're trading our time for money, and we want to transition from not doing that anymore. Having the freedom of our time to do what we want to do. And that's why I feel like when I ever get that hunch for wanting to get an upgrade on certain materialistic thing, whether it's a car, or phone, or whatnot, I really think about it a lot, and I make sure that I need it and I really want it at that point. And if I'm willing to basically trade this, whatever that worth of that material stuff is worth, how much time am I trading for that? And if I really want to trade that for that in the moment, or I can just stay invested and hopefully it'll compound in the future and it pays me back with my time. So I know it sounds kind of a little bit off, but yeah, understanding that when we start putting away money every single year or every single month, however you do it, understand you're buying time back, and the more you're able to save and put away, the more faster you'll get there, and you'll be able to have time a lot faster to yourself and be able to live the life that we're all here to do, and we're all here to be. I mean, I think life is one of the most precious things we can, and we want to be able to have fun with it and do things that are exciting and explore and be the best version of ourselves. So I think we already have a lot of things and qualities within us, and it's up to us to kind of acknowledge that and find that. But until we kind of handle, I think, our personal finances and really understand where we and why we spend and why we don't take an initial, I would say, an initial management of our own finances, we will never kind of really move forward and start building that wealth and start building for our futures. And at the end of the day, we want to be able to thank ourselves 5, 10 years out, 15 years out, and be like, when we started, remember that time we started 10 years ago, we had nothing, and now we accumulated a lot of wealth, and it was due to the fact that we understood that stacking away some money for ourselves and investing it was a process that we felt that it was hard and it was kind of the toughest things to do, but it set you up 10 years later to be at a position where you don't have to do that anymore. Doesn't seem as difficult, right? So just want to share with you guys today. Start there. Start with your savings rate. Don't worry too much about what the interest rate you're getting. Worry about more how much you're putting away, how much you're able to save every single year in order to help you to have that freedom fund grow. So stay tuned for the next episode.